Alright, today's lesson we're going to be learning how to use the pencil tool. So the first thing you need to open is the pencil tool document that you see right here in front of you. And then we probably want to zoom in. So you can either go to your magnifying glass and zoom in like that, or you can go up here to View and you can choose Fit All in Window. Alright, so the pencil tool is going to be found over here underneath the shaper tool, and there's the pencil tool right there. You can also hit N on your keyboard, so if you're on a different tool you just hit N on your keyboard and it will take you to the pencil tool. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the pencil tool. So once you've hit the pencil tool, you want to check out the properties, and if you don't see the properties over here, just go up here to Window and go down and choose Properties. So under Appearance, the first thing we want to do is get rid of that fill. So right now it's filling with white. We want to fill with nothing. So we're just going to click on that white with the red line across. So that way there's no fill at all. And make sure your stroke is black and it's at least 1 point. Alright, I'm going to go back to my zoom tool and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more because I want to be able to see the sail really good. Okay, so then I'm going to hit N again. And I'm going to go back to my pencil tool. But this time I'm going to double click on my pencil tool. These are the different settings for the pencil tool. So the first thing I want to do is show you, I'm just going to click OK, and show you how it would draw if I tried to draw a sail right here, whoops, without it. Right? So one of the things you might notice is some of the sections it might be a little bit rough. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the delete key. I'm going to double click on my pencil tool again, and I want to smooth out. I want to put this all the way maximum smoothness. Okay, and now when I try to draw, see how much more smooth it makes the lines than before. Okay, so I'm going to delete that again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to where these little blue guidelines are, and I'm going to go ahead and trace over the lines like that as best I can, and there we go. Okay, so it's not perfect, but there are some things that we can do. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is go back up here and get my selection tool and make sure I'm selecting the right path. Then I'm going to get my direct selection tool. This is the white arrow, the direct selection tool. Okay, so there are some things you can do with the direct selection tool, and one of the things that we can do with the direct selection tool is we can adjust some of these paths. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to get my direct selection tool, and you can click on the anchors. So you see these little dots right here, these are the anchors. So I can click on the anchor and I can turn these a little bit, right? I can turn the anchor points, and I can even move the anchor point, right, to make it more concise. The other thing I can do is I can go back to my pencil tool and I can redraw this path. So I can just come right here. You see how there's a little star when I'm over here? If I go until there's no star, I can just start drawing again. I can make it more pointy, and I can redraw that path like that. And then I can hit the Alt key and I can put it over one of these anchor points. Actually, I need to do it with the direct selection tool. With the direct selection tool, oops. I know there's a way to get rid of that anchor point. Alright, so with the direct selection tool, you're just going to click on the anchor point. So first thing I'm going to do is just click on my path. Then I'm going to get my direct selection tool. If I want to get rid of this anchor point right here, I'm just going to click on the anchor point. And then over here, you see how it has this negative right there. It says remove selected anchor point. So I'm just going to click on it, and then there it goes. And you see how that made that a lot straighter. So if I'm happy with my sail, now what I can do is I can zoom out. Alright, I'm holding down the Alt and the Alt key, and then I can get my selection tool. I can click on this blue object, right, with the direct selection tool, and get rid of it, maybe. Well, we're not going to worry about it right now. Okay, so let's go down, zoom on down to the bottom. We have another little guide, and what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make straight lines. Okay, so go back and get your pencil tool. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and start right here in the corner, and click, and then shift. And with the shift key held down, I can make a straight line in any direction, like that. And then I can keep going. Right, I can draw with my pen around this over here. It's going to straighten that out pretty good. Then when I get here again, I want to hit that shift key and go across, 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 and stop right there. Back to properties. Okay, so the problem with my path here, as you can see, it doesn't have a stroke. So I'm going to add that black and the 1 point to my stroke, and there it is. Now I can actually see my stroke in it. It actually looks pretty good, right? Okay, so this has been part 1 of our drawing with the pencil tool. The other thing we could do here, let's zoom back out. So we have this other artboard over here. What we can do is we can go up here to select all, and we can just move this whole thing over here, and it leaves the paths behind. We can put our ship right there. Okay, so there's 2 more things we got to do before we're finished here. Is we forgot to fill these in, right? So let's fill in the sail that we created. Go back to properties, go to our fill. We want to use the same color as the other sails, and then the same thing with the bottom of our boat. Right. Click on the path, go to fill, and let's fill that in, and there we go. And if you want this to look like the other sails, you can get rid of that stroke. Just go to 0, or get rid of it like that. Same with the bottom of our boat. Just take the stroke off. And now we've done a good job. So that's part 1 of this lesson.